We're going to close the estimate. Right? We're going to close that loop. If we get a no, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Go to the next one, right? What is the next one? Comfort, right? What's comfort mean?
There's hot spots or cold spots.
Hot and cold spots, right? Are you living in hot and cold spots, right? So what's that sound like for a customer? That sounds like, is your master bedroom hotter and colder? Or maybe a kid's room or in-laws room hotter and colder? Are you living in misery in your own bathroom, you know, your own king, your king or queen suite? Are you having to sweat at night because it doesn't cool off? Well, guess what? A new system will fix that for you, right? What else could comfort sound like or look like?
Running all night.
It's running all night. That's partly. That would actually drive up your bills. That would be more of a reliability and high energy bills. What else could comfort sound like other than just hot and cold spots? Could be noisy, but that's more reliability, right? That'd fall under more repairs or reliability. So what happens if somebody has a 15-year-old air conditioner and they tell you they have low energy bills? What do you know? They're either lying to your face or they're sacrificing comfort to maintain their bill, right? So what's that sound like, or what's that look like? They have their thermostat set at 80. They really want it set at 72, but they can't afford the electric bill at 72, so they're having to sacrifice comfort in order to maintain an energy bill they can afford. What would a new system allow that customer to do?
Keep it nice and comfortable without paying that high bill.
They could bring the temperature down to 72 degrees and they wouldn't pay a penny more in energy. Matter of fact, they may still even save a few dollars, right? So if you find a comfort issue, what are we going to do? Close the loop and ask for the business, right? And are we selling at that point? Once we find one of these pains, are we selling? Are we any longer selling? I'm going to use this chair to demonstrate here, right? So as you're making that approach and you're having the initial interaction, it's a 1-2, 1-2, right? It's a battle. I'm selling. After you get to this point, I'm no longer having to fight this guy. We're now buddies. Buddy, I'm so glad I bumped into you, right? You're getting screwed and you have these major problems, whatever we uncovered. I'm glad I did because I got this great offer here that's going to help you, right? What you can do is you can have a guy come out to your house absolutely free. He'll custom design that new system that's specific for you and your home. What that will do for you is that will show you how to eliminate this pain, and this pain. That is what you want to do, isn't it? Well, yeah, that's what I want to do. What did he just say yes to? The whole thing, right? The appointment. Yes, I want to solve those problems. Yes, I want the appointment. Now we just pick a great date and a time. Great. What date and time is better for you? This afternoon or would tomorrow morning be better? Which is better for you? Right? And we just close it up, right? Now, here's where I really want to kind of get everybody to pay attention, right? We're pretty good at this already, right? We've been chasing these all summer. We've gotten pretty good at them. Where I think we're missing is if a customer doesn't fit this exact mold, we don't keep going, right? We don't go ahead and transition over here to these other two things that we could sell or could help a customer with what they need, right? That they didn't even know they need, right? So let's assume we got a no, there's no comfort issue, right? So if there's no reliability issues, no high energy bills, and no comfort issues, where would you go?
I usually go one shirt and probably one of this to make the system last as long as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah, well, we do have a promotion going on right now where due to the season, we're trying to help people get ready for the summer.
Wow.
So we have a tune-up going on.
So you make a transition line, right? And then you start pitching the tune-up, right? So here's what I want us to make sure we pay attention to. We just talked about the order of the engagement questions here. Let's talk about the order of the engagement questions on the tune-up, right? So we're going to come over here to the tune-up, right? And yes, that is where we're going to transition. You would transition to the tune-up, okay? And so, hey, you know, and your question was spot on, right? I used to say this in the store all the time. Hey, you sound like my dad or my mom. You're going to run this thing until it breaks, aren't you? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, right? They get all excited. Perfect. Well, I got just a solution for that. Let me ask you, when, and write this down. When was your last annual maintenance? Question mark. I didn't say, did you have one? Do you want to get one? Right? I said, when was your last annual maintenance? Why do you think that question matters that way?
Because it's an open-ended question.
It's open-ended.
The customer's going to have to think about it and really dig into the information.
Think about it, dig in, right? What else are they going to have to, is it a yes/no question, right? So they can't tell you just no and brush you off. They have to give you a date, right? And they probably aren't educated enough to know what a good date or a bad date is to get them out of this thing, right? So they're probably going to give you a somewhat of a real date, right? So,
When I do that, they'll be like, oh, it's good.
it's good? Okay, great. So let me ask it. If you ask a question and the customer doesn't, it says, well, it's good, it's fine. What would the next thing you would say is? So anytime you ask a question, if you don't get the answer to the question, what do you do next?
I usually answer the same question.
You ask the same question again,
I'll be
right?
like,
Hey,
awesome. How old?
that's great, right, that's great. Oh, I'm glad it is doing good. Well, let me ask you though, when's the last time you had it checked out to make sure it was good? Right, and just ask the exact same question, right? Just a slightly different way, right? So what are we going to find out here? There's only 3 answers you're going to get. Again, they're going to say it a million different ways, but just like here, there's only 3 responses you're going to get. What are those 3 responses?
Never.
Never?
Just had it done.
Just, right? And what's the third one?
Last year.
Plus 1 year, right? Greater than a year, right? Yeah, it's been a couple years, right? But since I've had it done, or they're going to say I just had it done, or they're going to say I've never had it done. And again, they're going to give you that answer in a million different ways, but it's only one of those 3 buckets. How do we get the tune-up? How easy is the tune-up on a 10-plus-year-old system? How easy should it be? It should be easy because it should be assumed, right? If they don't want to do this, what do they have to do? This isn't an option. If you don't want to replace it, what are you telling me? You want to make it last longer. Yes. Well, then you have to do this. Now, in September, if they told you they just had it done, what do you have to qualify? Oh, when did you have it done? Oh, I had it done in June. Well, in September, we were still selling AC checks. Well, guess what? You just had it done. I got nothing to sell you, right? We're now going into November, right? Tomorrow is November 1st. If they say I just had it done, what does that mean?
I'll say ACO.
So nobody's done heat yet. Everybody go to work tomorrow assuming nobody's done a heat check. Right, because maybe 1% of the population's done a heat check, right? So every person you talk to for the next 60 days, if they say they just had it done, you can assume they've had the AC done, but they have not had the furnace done. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you had the AC done. When did you have it done? In the summer? Oh, yeah, that's when I had it done. Okay, great. Well, you need to do it twice a year, remember. The summertime and the spring is for the AC, and here in the fall and the winter, what do? We do the heater, right? And we make sure the heater's right and ready for the winter season, right? So so if they tell you they just had it done, how do you assume the sale? Great news, you already had the AC, you know you need this one. What address am I sending the guy to for the heat tune-up? Are we just going to assume the sale, right? If it's been longer than a year, what are we going to do? How do we assume the sale? Same thing. Oh, I'm so glad I bumped into you. You're actually really overdue. It's kind of like driving your car for 10,000 miles and never changing your oil. I'm so glad I bumped into you. What address am I going to send the guy to solve this problem for you? I'm not asking if they want it. What address am I sending the guy to get your service done? And then they're going to hem and haw. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, great news. I've got a $30 off coupon. So normally it's $79, but I can actually, because we're going to set you up here at Home Depot and Home Depot Cares, we've got a $30 off coupon. What address am I sending the guy to? Right, and it's just constantly going back to that assuming the sale, right? You don't have to battle them, right? Because is a tune-up an optional service? Kinda. Is an oil change an optional service? It is optional, right? But what happens if you ignore it? Your engine's going to seize up at 50,000 miles, and you're going to have a new engine, right? And then you're going to be mad at the warranty and think the warranty should have covered it, right? Well, guess what? That's not how it works. In order for the warranty on your system to stay valid, you have to have the book. Go get in your warranty book. It's in all of them. All the manufacturers say you have to have 2 maintenances a year. One in the spring and summer for your AC, and one in the fall and the winter for your tune-up or for your heater. And if you don't, your warranty can be void, right? If you have an extended warranty, right, or a home service plan, same thing. In order for that home service plan to be valid, you have to do the annual maintenance, right? Now, some service plans include it, right? They'll use their company to do it. Others require you to do it out on your own, right? But the point is, just like an oil change is really not optional, it is, but it really isn't, a tune-up isn't optional, right? So we're going to get you started on a proper maintenance schedule today. What address am I sending the guy to, right? The only one that's hard, right, and it's not hard, it's just an extra step, is if they've never had it done. So before you say, what address am I sending the guy to, you have to educate somebody, right? Who knows you're supposed to brush your teeth every day? Right? Who knows you're supposed to go see the dentist every 6 months? Why do we all know that? Because somebody taught us, right? If this is your first home, and maybe you grew up and your family rented a home, or you lived in an apartment, or you lived in a condo downtown, maybe you've never been exposed to home ownership and maintenance that is involved in home ownership. Oh, Mr. Customer, you didn't know, you've never had it done? Really? Right? This is when you go, really? You've never had the service? Right? And you just look like freaked out, like scared to death for them, right? And then am I going to try to close right now? No, what am I going to do? I'm going to educate. Oh, Mr. Customer, let me tell you, do you know how often you're supposed to have it done? I don't know, right? They like go white, their eyes get big, right? Well, let me tell you, so just like a car is supposed to, how often are you supposed to change the oil in your car? And this is what I always say. Well, every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, okay, right? That's 3 or 4 times a year? Yeah, 3 or 4 times a year. Well, with your heating and cooling system, the manufacturer doesn't recommend, they say you must, just in order for the warranty to be valid, plus to make the system be operational and more efficient, twice a year. So in the spring and summer, you have us come out and we do the AC and make sure the AC is ready to roll and is in line for the summer. And then this time of year, we come out and do the same thing for your furnace. Is it a gas? And then ask, is it a gas system or an electric? Oh, it's gas. That's even more important because the gas system has burners, right? So literally, there's a fire inside of the system. So it's important to clean those burners and keep those clean. If it's electric, it's still just as important. It's just if the electric system gets out of whack, what's it going to do? Drive up your energy bill, right? So you're either going to blow your house up or blow your energy bill up if you don't do this, right? So one of the two is not a good thing, right? So again, remember, this isn't optional. So how many people were you going to talk to every hour that were homeowners? 15? How many tune-ups an hour should you be able to write? Really? 10? 5 people are always stupid, right? There's always 5 stupid people in the store. But you ought to be able to write 10 an hour. Right? Again, that's not realistic, but conceptually, it could happen. So, but remember, the question we ask here is, when was your last annual maintenance? Not do you want one, not have you had one. When was your last annual maintenance? Okay? And then you're only going to hear 3 answers. And then you're either going to assume the close, right? So assume the close, or you're going to educate and then assume the close. Right? That's your process, right? That's your progression. Everybody follow that? Everybody see how that? So here's what I can tell you. We're real good up to about right here, and probably half of this room either quits or walks away and moves on to the next customer. Right? Where we got to get better, where you're going to make money, especially in the fall, and you're going to get better as a lead generator, is continue all the way to comfort. And then if you strike out here, whether you get no, 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 or you may get yes, 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 but because when are they really going to run their AC system again? March, right? March, April, right? So they may be, look, I get it. I understand. I get all the changes. I get all the EPA changes, but I'm really going to wait till next spring. I'm not worried about it. That's going to be a legitimate thing, right? You may find a pain that you may not be able to overcome. What should you still be able to get today, though? The tune-up. hey, look, I understand I don't think it's the right thing, but if you really want to wait till to the spring, then at least let me get out there and make sure there's nothing going on major with the system that could cause you or your family harm, or you or your energy bill any more harm than it's already causing you, right? At least let me stabilize that for you. That makes sense, doesn't it, Mr. Customer? Well, yeah, I guess it does. What address am I sending the technician to, right? So this is where we got to get better. We still got to get our 10 of these a week, right? But we need to pick up 10 of these a week along the way, right? So that's our scenario if it's greater than 10 years old, right? That's our progression. That's how we move through getting a lead. What do we want to do if it's less than 10 years old? What's the next question out of our mouth? So how old's your system, Mr. Customer?
3 years old.
3 years old. What do I do? When was your... Okay, so yes and yes. Either one of those is right. Richards is more right. Why is Richards more right? Why is that? So how old again? Right, now we're going to say how old is the house? Right? So why are we going to go here first if it's less than 10 versus going straight to here? Why is that important for you?
It's a better filtering question.
What is it?
Better filtering question.
For what?
So you can still do tune-up and EAS.
You could do both, right? But again, we want to be selfish. What is the customer going to get more value out of a tune-up for a 3-year-old system, or more value out of an attic evaluation?
Yep.
Which one?
Attic evaluation.
Every time? It's a loaded.
No, not every time.
Okay,
So it
good.
depends